Abduction, Chapter 30, Part 1. Throughout the ride home to Tatiana's apartment, I kept my eye out for any vehicle that looked like it may be following us. Maybe I was too paranoid, but I was nervous about what might happen to Echo. With Natasha not returning to work, would Echo be next to disappear? I couldn't let that happen, but I also couldn't tell her not to leave the apartment. I would just have to trust that she would make the intelligent decisions when leaving the house. Echo was in an excellent mood, and why not? Her best friend was in town, and the idea of shopping made most women happy. Echo was not any different, especially considering the plan was to look for bridal items for the upcoming wedding. I couldn't abandon Natasha, even if Echo was not entirely on board with me looking for her. The girl's shopping plans put a dent in my hunt. However, there were possibilities to get out and search for my friend while everyone was shopping. Tatiana turned and drove down the street to her apartment. As she did, I noticed a parked car that looked like Masha Ivanovna's vehicle when she left Maxim's warehouse. I glanced down the side street nonchalantly without really thinking about it. The odds were high that it was just another car that appeared to be hers, but I wanted to know if it was Ivanovna's sedan. "Tatiana, pull over," I ordered. "What? What's the matter?" Tatiana replied and drove the car to the curb. "What are you going to do?" asked Echo. I didn't have time to explain. "Just let me out of the car, and I'll explain back at the apartment." Tatiana stopped the car. I knew Echo was not pleased with my actions, but stayed silent. She must have been distraught with me as she crossed her arms under her chest and glowered out the windshield. I had to see if we would be safe at the apartment, since neither liked my idea about staying elsewhere. In this case, it was better to have whoever was in the car chase me than follow the girls. I exited the vehicle without any fanfare or a "be careful" from Echo. Snow had started to fall heavily as I watched Tatiana and Echo drive off toward the house. I couldn't afford to have any remorse over my course of action, no matter how angry Echo was with me. I had to make sure we were safe. In Belarus, I should have done a better job when we were there, and this situation was no better. We should have walked away in the beginning. It was too late for that now. Trudging through the snow with my footfalls making a crunching sound in 3-inch deep snow, I made it to the side street where the car had been sitting. Ivanovna's vehicle had unmistakable, distinct tinted windows. One window on the passenger side had a wrinkle in the film. Even though I was focused on finding the car, the Ukrainian winter was seeping through my coat. I fought off the cold with determination and reached the street and saw the car was gone. The vehicle's imprint was in the snow where it sat, and the tire tracks were visible in the freshly fallen snow. I could see the outline of where the car sat on the side of the road. I panned my surroundings to catch a glimpse of where the car went. I saw nothing in one direction, then I followed the tire tracks in the snow down the street. There was the car. It was similar to the one that Ivanovna was traveling in earlier in the day. Unfortunately, there was no telling who was driving it, and if it was really her vehicle. If I thought the snow was falling hard before, it quickly started to be a whiteout. Getting back to the apartment was going to be arduous. The only place to walk was along the edge of the busy street, among the snow and slush. Should have thought this out more and not be so spontaneous. I laughed inwardly. I was becoming like Echo and going through a role reversal with her. My thinking like Echo probably wasn't as awful as I was making it out to be. Still, I shuddered that I even gave it a thought. The car moved from its parked position and turned my way, and I smiled inwardly at my good fortune. Unfortunately, I had to get out of the road and quickly or get run over. I managed to get up on the snow-covered side of the road, effectively burying my shoes into 8 inches of wet slush and snow. I groaned as I felt the water soak into my pants, shoes, and socks. The roar of the engine whisked past me. I turned in time to see it was Ivanovna's car, but not in time to see who was driving the vehicle. The darkly tinted windows prevented that from happening. Then, added to my failure, the car ran over a slushy bank of snow and splashed it across the front of my body. I imagined the car's driver laughing as it turned down the road and quickly out of sight. Bastard. The mission I set out to accomplish was turning into a failure. I wouldn't feel so horrible if I was not so slush-covered. I brushed most of the dirty snow off my jacket and pants, but they were wet. I was going to look like a fool when I got back to Tatiana's apartment. I trudged my way through the snow-covered street, the 4 blocks to the apartment. Other cars that drove on the road were more courteous as they passed me. I didn't get splashed. This made me happy, but I was still snow-covered and wet to the bone. On the positive side, however, the snow squall had let up. The sun had set over the horizon by the time I reached the apartment doors. I looked up at the dark, cloud-covered sky. Then, from nowhere, I saw an odd light appear from behind the clouds that caught my interest. Maybe because of UFO sightings, but it made me nervous. Having aliens visit your bedroom wasn't a good feeling. There was something that never leaves you. So when you see something odd in the sky, you take notice. I stared for a few minutes, and nothing happened. Any spectacular light show wasn't going to happen no matter how long I looked at the object. By the same token, the light didn't move. One could say that it was a lunar light, but the location on the skyline indicated that it wasn't the moon. My gut feeling said it was a UFO, but there would be no way of knowing. A brisk winter wind reminded me that I needed to go into the building. I felt the cold breeze blasted through my wet-soaked pants. It didn't feel good. My whole body shivered, and I rushed into the building. Upon entering the building, I instantly felt the temperature difference. I hit the elevator button and warmed up. The elevator door opened, and thankfully it was empty. I didn't know the temperature outside the building, but it was a relief to be indoors. It saved me the embarrassment of having people giggle at my disheveled appearance.